You might see some depression on my face right now.
It's a sad moment.
It is a sad moment. I want this as clean as possible on the roof. I don't want a hack job or what will look like a hack job. I want it as stealthy and as low profile as possible.
We're having a nice Saturday putting a panel on a van.
That's right. Hey guys, we are at Light Harvest Solar right now. I got John and Carter with me, and what up guys?
We are putting a panel on Jarrod's van today.
Heck yeah, we are. By the way, this video is not a tutorial on how to do things, although you will learn how to do some things during this video, because guess what? I got professionals with me.
Hey, 2 years ago, we did that video with you and me in the office.
Yeah, we did.
Talking about all the solar stuff. People loved that one. And man, you guys have kept me busy since then. We've moved to a new location. We're in a much bigger warehouse now. Pneumatic Customs is our lovely neighbors, and Jarrod is as well nowadays.
I am now here, yeah.
We're here in on a Saturday to slap a panel on there and get it going.
Well, not only am I using your panel, but I'm also using your Aspen.
Yes.
And that is why I'm using your panel.
Yep. So one of the deals with those power stations is they have a particular input voltage. So we're putting a higher voltage panel on there. If you put in, let's say, you know, one of those
100
small 100-watt panels,
right?
It's just flat out not going to run. It's too low voltage. You get 2, maybe 3, that'll work. But then you're setting up a couple of panels every time.
Some people may say that the Aspen. This isn't the video about the Aspen, but I'm going to touch on it quickly. The Aspen is not enough battery power for VanLife, which I obviously disagree with.
It's it
is there something in the works?
It really depends on what you're doing. For what you're trying to do, like, you know, you're not trying to run a full kitchen. You're not trying to run.
I'm going to be running quite a bit.
You are running quite a bit. You'll have enough solar on there that the power in is going to kind of match your power out.
Can you hook the Aspen up to the alternator?
Yes, we actually do have a solution. But essentially, they come with a like cigarette lighter type plug.
Yep.
That gets you about 100 watts.
Okay.
We have another solution that uses a small inverter to run off your starting system.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That gets you about 400 to 500 watts.
Oh wow.
So that's, I mean, at peak performance, that's maybe a 4-hour full charge while you're driving. So if you're on a long trip, pop that Aspen in there empty. By the time you get there, it'll be full. Again,
this isn't a video about the Aspen. It's more about the solar panel that they've got.
Don't mind me trying to sell them.
Yeah. But the Aspen, lastly, coming soon.
Coming soon.
The Aspen will be able to add battery power to it. Almost like daisy chaining a battery.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, it has, they're like a kind of auxiliary battery packs. Plug it in and it gives you an extra couple kilowatt hours.
That's probably what I'm going to do. And when we do a video about the Aspen, I will actually explain all of that with John when that date does come. But we are light years away from that right now.
Yep, no, we're focused today.
What do we need to put the panel on? Can we go over that kind of stuff?
Yeah, let's go over that. So we've got it kind of laid out here. There's a couple of things you're going to need.
Do you need 2 people?
Probably, I would recommend it.
Okay, fair enough.
It's a lot easier with 2 people, I'll put it that way.
I would want to help, but Carter was like, dude, I want to be on your channel, bro. I was like,
for sure. Just dying for the attention.
I'm just kidding. He's actually great at what he does, so I wanted to put him on here.
Yep, if you're ordering from us, you may be interacting with Carter in the future.
All right, so we've got an array of stuff.
You need something to mount it with. Now, these are Z brackets. You can kind of see the Z shape there if we zoom in.
Yeah.
And what these do is one end attaches to the panel, one end attaches to the vehicle, and it gives you a nice secure mount. These work great in some installs, not in all. If you're working on a Sprinter or ProMaster, Transit, there are custom mounting brackets you can get that do a really good job. These are kind of your generic solution, but for what we're doing today, it's gonna work really good.
Yeah, and we're drilling directly into the roof.
Yep, we're doing some through bolts, which I highly recommend. Very secure.
And then to help those leakage, apparently we have lap sealant.
Yep, so you can't just put a bolt in. That is gonna leak, that's gonna be bad. So we personally use Dicor lap sealant. It's self-leveling, which means you can just put a bunch on there, it'll gradually settle, and then it'll form a really nice seal.
That stuff is so awesome.
It is.
Dicor is so good.
There are others on the market that you can use. I've used Sikaflex, that works pretty good.
What's the heat gun for?
Heat gun. So, we're going to be using some butyl tape in between the Z bracket and the panel. That is both for physical security and kind of vibration dampening. A little nicer. To get a good seal with that, you want to heat up both surfaces. So the tape and the bracket tape and the roof of the van. You know, everything's super clean, super warm. If you're doing this in the summer, maybe doesn't matter so much. It'll already be pretty warm. But we are doing this in the winter.
I mean, it's end of fall, I would say, or mid-fall. I mean, you're dressed like you're in the Arctic.
Yeah,
but
I'm a skinny guy. I'm cold.
How are we running cable into said van? We need to obviously get that power.
Yes. So we are going to go in through the roof. We personally really like this style.
Okay.
This is a cable entry and a gland. That kind of goes in there roughly like that. You know, inserts in. There's a little grommet there that holds it in.
That's all watertight.
Well, it will be when we're done.
Right.
We put some tape on the bottom there, seal it down, put some of the roof sealant around. Tons of styles of these. You can really go a lot of different routes, and a lot of those routes are right. For what we're doing, we're gonna stick with this one for a very important reason. This, it wants you to drill through the center there.
Yeah.
Which if you're using a single conductor or round wire or something like that, that's gonna be pretty easy for you, and that's gonna do a pretty good seal. The wire we use is oval shaped.
Do you have any of this wire that I could see?
Yeah. Got some right over here.
And you were just about to explain, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
You were just about to, you got plenty of wire. You were about to explain the ovalness compared to a other type of wire.
Yep, so if you look at that, you see it's got both the red and black inside this outer insulation.
Sure.
The inner insulation is for your electrical safety. It's electrically resistant insulation, but it is not UV resistant and it's not quite as all-weather. So they coat it with this outside insulation that is very UV resistant. One of these comes with almost every one of our kits.
Awesome. So you do sell these obviously in kits?
Oh yeah. This is the wire that connects your solar panel to your charge control. 100% of the time with the kit you get from us.
So how I'm doing it with going directly into Aspen, Aspen has its own built-in system.
It does.
How does that all work?
So this is still gonna be our kind of solar to charge controller wire. It's just that the charge controller is built into the Aspen.
Okay.
So they have their own plug that comes with it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna attach some MC4s to the end of this, gonna run that in through the roof, and then attach MC4s to the other end and plug that into the cable that comes with the Aspen.
Let's go get the panel, and I'm gonna go and get the butyl tape.
Sounds great.
And I'll meet you back here. All right.
Yeah.
As they're coming over here with the panel, you guys may be asking yourself, Jarrod, you're going with 400 watts of solar on a little Econoline. Yeah, well, you know what? You can never have too much solar, right? There's no such thing as too much solar panels. Pretty much the biggest that I can fit, as well as a vent. I lost track because look at this thing. This thing is massive. You know the dimensions offhand, don't you?
Yeah, it's 48 by 65 roughly.
All right, and this is obviously not the only panel you.
This is our kind of high-end panel.
Yeah.
It's a little bit spendy in comparison to the others. It's $630 for the panel.
630. Is it plus shipping or is that shipping included?
That is plus shipping.
Okay.
Commonly, you're going to get one of these with a kit, so the shipping is kind of all in one thing.
Gotcha.
But you can't send these in the mail.
You
FedEx
have
is
to,
not gonna pick it up.
you have to freight it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we build crates, we package them up super nice.
That is really the biggest difference between a 400 watt panel and the little 100 watts.
Exactly. Get those in the mail. You can buy them on Amazon. They'll ship them right to you, no problem.
But this sucker's commercial grade.
Commercial grade. This is what's going in the big arrays. This is what's going on homes. This is what's going on your grid level energy.
When you're driving in the middle of the desert and you see a massive solar array field,
yep,
is that what these
something
like along these lines?
Yeah. You know, maybe not this exact panel, but definitely something like it. We don't have branded panels.
Yeah, not yet. We
do have branded batteries, though. We'll maybe talk about that a little.
Branded batteries, yes, you do have those now.
Yeah.
Finally. Regardless, though, these guys could stand on this thing. With
no.
Thank you. I knew you were going to go into
this. So in a previous video, we said something about being able to stand on the panels. Technically, you maybe can, but I would not.
Yeah, we highly recommend you do not do that.
Yep. There are a few walkable panels on the market. They're typically pretty expensive, but they do exist.
We're going to try and make this as stealthy as possible because we're going to get it low pro right now. All right, what are we doing now?
So what we are doing right now, we're just kind of staging the panel. Then we're going to do a bunch of measuring because never do an install without measuring. Take some of those measurements. We're going to drill some mounting holes in the back of this.
Okay, we've already run into a little small issue here, as right at the beginning, and John's going to explain what the heck we're talking about because this is the roof of my van right now. So John, what do you got for me?
So our initial game plan, just kind of due to the spacing of this, was to have the Z brackets go into these channels here, kind of like that.
Yeah.
However, and I don't know how well you can get that on camera,
I'll zoom in right now.
we're about an inch off of where I'd want to be.
Yeah, and he's got this piece of wood down because that's it flat. Now,
Yep.
roofs are never, you know, flat. They're curved.
We're either going to have to space it up or use a different style of bracket.
Plans do change. Is this wood right now cut to the same width of your panel?
Yep. This is 48 inches, so that's kind of given us like a little guide here. I can tell if that bracket goes right there, it's going to go nicely into the panel.
Worst case scenario, dial it down from a 400 watt panel, because I also know you carry 380s.
We do.
The 380s are actually thinner,
Yes.
but longer.
Yes. So that might interfere with your plan to have a fan in the back.
And guys, this is what I'm talking about. Plans don't always go according to plan. So
That's why we're measuring.
And that's why we're going to measure 97 times. However, if we have to do it, you know, I will figure something out with my roof configuration. You might see some depression on my face right now.
It's a sad moment.
It is a sad moment. I'm going to talk briefly about why we're actually making the switch, and then we're going to go into the actual switch with John here in a second, and Carter's still here. Don't worry, guys. I want this as clean as possible on the roof. I don't want a hack job or what will look like a hack job. I want it as stealthy and as low profile as possible. We had two options. One, we can hack up the roof and put a Solaria panel on, like we already showed, the 400 water, or we can use those Z brackets that John has already spoken about, and we can mount this 380 watt panel, which is not a Solaria panel.
It is not a Solaria.
And
so yeah, let me talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, buddy, man.
Very typical story of your plan, not quite, you know, shaping up when you actually get into the install. So we could go get some angle aluminum. We could make some custom brackets. We could
put a rail in there?
We could put a rail on there. There's a number of ways we could do it, but none of them, in our opinion, is going to look super clean, and that's really what we want to do with this install. So we're going to switch panels.
There's obviously a massive difference, not just in wattage, because your wattage drops 20 watts.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a lot.
But your price point drops
about
200.
220 bucks.
Okay.
So these panels, we have them at $410 a piece. The reason for that drop is the Solarias have that the parallel design and the shade resistance we were talking about. These do not. So this is the typical series string panel. It's maybe got, you know, at most 2 strings, something like that. I don't actually know off the top of my head.
It's still the efficiency rating is still great on it.
Oh yeah, this is still a high-end industrial panel, monocrystalline, very good panel. These are kind of our mid-range option right now. A lot cheaper, still gets you that high wattage.
And fits on an Econoline quite nicely.
Yes, that is another important thing. Those Solarias, 48 inches. These, 39 inches.
In width.
In width, yes.
And I believe these are slightly longer. They're, you said 70 and a half, 71?
They're actually like 70 and 2/3.
Okay,
but
71.
71.
And that's actually wider and not and short, like Jarrod over here.
Yeah, 48 by 65.
You like that one.
Yeah, I'm the Silfab, Jarrod's the Solaria. We don't have to read into that too much.
And you also have a budget-friendly
Yes.
option, which you don't really sell too many of, but for the people that want them, they get them.
Yeah, it's kind of your entry level into the big solar. That's our 320 watt. What is that? A
Yingli.
Yingli. Yeah.
Yingli.
School buses, where you have space for like a ton of panels, you might prefer something more budget oriented. So.
Look at you, man, coming in,
Yeah.
coming out of the woodworks, baby. I love that. Thank you for that
training them on
explanation.
I do enough sales.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Really good point. Because if you have a bus, if you have a box truck, if you have something that you need like 7 panels for, you know, and you don't have the money to drop $5 grand on panels,
That's gonna add up real fast.
right? You can put on what the Yinglings or
whatever, you know, as long as you're getting a high grade monocrystalline panel.
What makes Light Harvest carry Silfab, Solaria, and the Yingling? I can't pronounce that one.
Yeah.
But why do you carry those brands over LG or other panels that are on the market that are commercial grade?
Yeah. A lot of that is the specifics of the voltage and amperage. We have a couple of constraints we like to work with. We want a panel that will run an Aspen single panel.
There you go.
So we don't want any panels below 35 volts. To have panels with kind of a higher voltage and a lower amperage. That way you can put more in parallel, get a little better shade resistance.
I know Miles has put all of these panels through rigorous testing, so he obviously stands by them. I do also want to point out right now, the width of that panel, I believe, is perfect, or the length of it is perfect for the width of a ProMaster.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sprinters, ProMasters, and Transits.
That can fit
these panels
that
fit
way?
great on.
Yeah, perfect all the way. Like you can fit them. You can almost fit like two with enough room for a roof end.
Depends what you have on your roof and whether you've got the extended or you've got like the shorter wheelbase ones.
Now let's, I guess, put this guy on. Sad day, but also exciting at the same time. I'm not really complaining, guys. Seriously, I'm fine. I'm really fine.
So what we are doing now is we are putting the mounting holes in the panel. Don't drill into the panel itself. That's very important.
Yeah, please don't. The warranty is void at that point, I believe.
Definitely. But then for this, all you do, boom.
It gives you a little dimple.
Little dimple. Not a whole lot, but that's all I need.
What are you using, a step drill after?
Yep,
Okay.
exactly. We're gonna swap over to the other side.
All right, so why are we using a step?
All right, so we are using a step drill because if you drill into the back of that panel, you basically don't want to use the panel. It'll probably work. It'll probably still work almost as well as a brand new panel. You could get moisture inside the panel. That moisture could short things out. It basically, you can't rely on the panel at that point. You always want to have a wood block under where you're drilling.
That's a
so
good
if you
call.
do go through, goes into the wood, not into the panel.
Yeah.
I say that from experience. I have drilled.
You've drilled into panels before? Okay.
Yeah, I drilled into what was it, a 290? So because I made that dimple earlier, this should go well. Famous last words.
Yeah, right.
And we're done.
There it is.
We're going to attach the Z brackets to the panel itself. To get a very, very nice seal, it's nice to rough up the surface a little bit.
And again, these are aluminum. They're not stainless steel. They're super lightweight. Obviously, they will not corrode because they're aluminum, which is obviously important because they're going to be on the roof of a van. All right, I'm going to let John finish up his work. We actually said this was not going to be a tutorial video. However, it's kind of turning into one.
I'm showing you what I'm doing. Again, there's a lot of ways to do this. This is just the way I like it done. If you like a different way, I respect that, as long as it's secure, as long as it's not going to come off. So what we're going to do here is we're going to install the butyl tape onto the brackets. I personally tend to use 3M VHB. It forms a really, really strong seal and also works for vibration dampening. It's like a foam tape.
Right.
It's very, very sticky.
Butyl is actually what I had left from my roof vent, which I haven't installed yet.
Gotcha. The bolt is going to be our physical security. We just want A, to not have metal to metal as much as possible, and B, if a bolt ever were to fail, then this tape is kind of your backup. I don't tend to use lock washers, but I definitely do use Loctite.
Okay. Are you using Loctite today?
I am using Loctite today.
Okay. Mom's calling me, so give me 1 second.
We'll take a break. So we are ready to put this bracket on. I've got our butyl tape on the bottom there. I heated the surface, kind of doing both at once. And we're down.
And you're using not a lock washer, but you are using a nylon nut.
Yes, it is a nylock nut, and I'm also gonna get some,
Thread locker?
yes.
For anybody that doesn't know what thread locker is, this stuff is really, it literally locks a nut onto a bolt. There is a way to break it, and you'd have to heat it up. From what I'm told, I've actually never had to break one.
I'm pretty sure excessive amounts of force will also do that.
I highly recommend using thread locker if you are using not only this, but if you're going to be using 80/20 inside of your van. Anything that you're going to be screwing into, we drive around rolling earthquakes, so those will tend to loosen up over time. Thread locker on there will definitely help the vibration of that ever loosening. All right, guys, I'm going to cut this now. I'm going to let them do this. Maybe I'll give them a hand with a couple of them, and we'll bring it back to when we put it up onto the van. you and Carter got it up here successfully.
Yep.
With the help of the forklift.
Always nice.
It looks great, actually.
It's not quite centered, so we're gonna scooch it a little bit.
So I'm gonna let you guys go back to work, but I just wanted to show everybody what it looks like up on the roof. We're gonna take a look at that because I need to put a roof fan back here.
Panel's on. We've got it stuck down with the tape that we're using right now. It is not bolted in yet, so don't take this out on the highway just yet.
Ran into another problem.
We did.
Not a huge one.
But, you know, we're gonna manage it. It's a minor inconvenience.
This also goes back to maybe measuring a few times before we start drilling stuff.
And not just measuring what you're working on, but measuring what you are putting it onto.
Right.
So we measured the width to make sure that, like, you know, everything would space out nicely that way. But I didn't actually measure the spacing of these in comparison to the ribs on the inside of the van.
And the chances of that happening are pretty slim.
You know, and usually, like, you can shift it one way or another, and it's not a big deal. And in this particular instance, unless we want to take this off, move these mounting brackets somewhere else, we're going into a rib one way or another.
Just one rib.
Just one rib. I'd rather not go into two. The rib itself has some holes in it, so we should be able to get a nut in there for the bolt.
Yep.
If we can't, then we can drill a small hole in it and get it in that way, and that'll still be okay. Let's see how this does. And we're through.
And you definitely hit the rib because I
Definitely hit the rib.
I felt that.
Let me see where that hole came through. Ugh. It's like right here, I want to say.
Regardless, we're gonna find that hole. If need be, we could always make a hole in here. It's not gonna take any of the structural integrity away from that rib.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
All right, let's get back to work. So you are about to run cables through the van.
Yep. So we are putting the cable entry in now, and then we're gonna get everything sealed up, run the wires, and put a bunch of roof sealant on.
Before you put looks like a 1 inch?
1 1/4.
1 1/4. Before you put a 1 1/4 through my van, make sure you put this in the right spot, please.
Already have.
Okay.
And we're through.
We're gonna spray some enamel on there right now, and then we're gonna start running the cables through there.
So we have these sort of pre-made for people who are getting Aspens.
Really?
Yep. Because we like to make it easy on you. Well, we can pre-crimp these parts on for you.
Okay.
This is the hard part to do. So we've already done it for you. These will be up on the roof. They'll just plug right into the panel. These go through, and then you put the plastic bits on the inside.
How much wire are you giving the people or me?
Just 30 feet.
That's a hell of a lot.
It's, well, you know,
But it's
we'd rather
good.
send you too much than too little.
And honestly, what we were actually just talking about, technically I only need about 4 feet to go from roof to where the Aspen's gonna live. However, because I'm not putting any 110 volt or 110 plugs into the van, it's all gonna be coming off the Aspen. Well, what happens if I wanna cook while I'm camping?
Yeah.
I can now charge the Aspen and I can bring it to the outside.
Yeah, this will give you a
That'll give me
range.
enough range for me to bring the entire Aspen outside with me. Gives you a lot more options to have that much cable, so you never have too much. You can always coil it up how it is and have it like tucked into the cabinetry, which is probably what I'll end up doing 90% of the time.
Now, the most important part is to do this before you seal it onto the roof. 'Cause otherwise, you're gonna have a very hard time. Yeah, you basically have to spool the entire thing.
I guess it is much easier doing it on the table than it is on a roof of a van.
I think so.
Normally this would take about 2 hours to do. We are at the 4-hour mark, and that is because we had changes as well as we're recording it all for you guys. Recording a process of any type of build is going to add some time to it, be setting up cameras, talking the way that I do. And very fortunately, I've got these guys doing the bulk of the work. Now he's running it all through there. Did you put any rubber gasket around that or not?
Absolutely. So there's a plastic gasket here. What you do not want is sharp metal contacting your wire.
And what I meant by that was Carter running that through.
Hold on one sec, Carter.
Where the hole is up there, everybody, he put a plastic ring around that.
So I'm gonna clean up that area a little bit first, and then we're gonna get some tape on here, and we're gonna seal it down.
The last thing that we do, by the way, do not put die cord down before any of this.
Finish everything,
Yes.
and then do your die core, or you will make a mess. Panel is fully put in, it's bolted in. We've got die core on everything, so it's sealed. It's just a matter of pretty much giving you a plug on this end. And as I said earlier, we like to make it really easy on you. So you take the one from the positive red bag, right on there until you feel a real solid click.
You heard the click.
Yep, and you probably won't have these tools. You can do it with pliers, you can do it by hand to some extent, but you want to get it pretty tight.
Please be advised that you want to put these on the right cables.
100%.
Because if you do put them incorrectly, it's easy, you can cut them off, but then you have to redo this.
Yep.
And redo.
Yeah, once this plug is on, once you hear that click, the plug is not coming back on.
Right, okay.
And then the tightening I just did there is honestly just a water seal. So the negative snaps on. See, I haven't tightened it down. It's not going anywhere.
Jeez, man,
we're done.
that's it. That's done.
That's it. You can plug your Aspen right in, get some power. You know, it's a little dark now, but
We're not going to test it right now because, you know, we're in October and almost November, and we are, the sun is setting. I'll still test it in this video. They came in on a Saturday, so thank you to them to do this. John and Carter from Light Harvest Solar. Give your guys a plug one more time.
So we are Light Harvest Solar. We make DIY kits for all, pretty much everybody. You know, you don't need to have a whole lot of experience. You don't really need to know what you're doing. We make it as easy as possible for you. So if you want to get van solar going by yourself without paying a bunch for an install, we're your guys.
Because that was a good pitch, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
To pay someone to build your entire kit for you is probably as much as you're going to pay for the actual components themselves.
That's a good rule of thumb.
That's just labor. That's what it costs. If you're trying to save yourself labor, then they have a very easy step-by-step process to put you through that, I think.
It's, you know, you still have to figure out some stuff yourself. You gotta learn some things. You have to be willing to learn.
Make sure that if you are going to do it yourself and you are going to learn, add the amount of time that it's going to take.
Yeah, definitely don't figure you're gonna get this all done in a day. It's gonna take a little bit.
No, I mean, I'm talking pros takes a couple days to build an entire kit.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Carter.
That's right.
He's been killing it all day today.
Oh, he's getting there.
He's great. All right, so we are going to end the video when we plug in the Aspen to see what it is bringing in for power. Testing the solar panel out. Really bad angle with the sun right now, but we're still bringing in 70 watts, 78, 70, going back and forth. Yay!
I could run through the fire, I could conquer the night. If I can make it, if I try to draw the rain.